So this whole month, we are focusing on intention, and that's so important because so just kind of a funny little story. It's not really funny. I was actually really having to practice a lot of tools today. So I had to call the IRS because I got a bill for something from a couple of years ago, and it was just this dumb thing, and I thought I was gonna pay. I went online to go pay it, and then as I was reading it, I was like, wait a minute, they got their money. Why are they saying that they need money? And then I was like so I thought, I'll call them. That'll be so easy. And so I was on the phone for 3 hours. And and I had a million other things that I had to make telephone calls for today, and I felt like much more important than what this thing was. But then once you get on the phone, and especially after the first 45 minutes, you think, I'm just going to stick this out, and you have no idea that it's going to take 3 hours, right? And, but then you get like really hooked and just, I'm going to stay because I know somebody's going to answer the phone at some point in time. And then, you're real nervous that if you accidentally hit the wrong thing and disconnect the phone, there's all these things. And so when we talked about this earlier in the month, but it's like there's the goal and then there's our intentions along the way. So my goal was not to have to pay this fee because it was stupid and it didn't make any sense. And but then so my intentions have to follow that goal, right? Whatever that means. So that is, I need to be patient and I need to not lose my temper. And the first woman that I talked to was really snotty and really mean to me. And so I was like, and she's like, I'm gonna have to put you on a brief hold. And so then when she put me on hold and said, your wait time is 67 minutes. And I was like, it's okay, I can wait another 67 minutes. I can do that. and I finally got a person on the phone, and but before that I had sat with that and I was like, I start making excuses for people. When you see people drive horribly on the road, instead of getting angry at them, I make excuses for them. And I say things like, their mother must be bleeding in the passenger seat and they're driving to take them somewhere. That's got to be what it is. Or maybe they're giving birth. Like they're probably giving birth right now and they're just trying to get somewhere safe. One day, if you've ever taken the road from the canyon, from Show Low down, the canyon is sketchy. That's a sketchy road, right? And there was a guy that was driving so fast and swerving around people, and my husband was so angry, and I'm like, you know what, he clearly is he must have lost body parts, and he's driving with random body parts not attached to him anymore, and that's why he's going so fast. So then we get to the bottom of the canyon and he's just sitting at the bathroom down there, and he's and I was like, he had to pee so bad that he needed to put everybody else at risk in order to make sure that okay, so that's what I did at the IRS today. I was like, there must be one person working for the entire IRS. And this poor thing, when I get on the phone with her, I'm gonna be so nice to her because she's all alone fielding every call in the United States, and I feel so horrible for her. And so, but I got that second person. That's what I believed. I sat there with that in my mind, and I was like, you poor sweet thing. You have been all alone all day long, talking to every person in America that has tax problems. I feel so bad for you. And she was so nice, and she reversed the fee for me. So, so it's one of those things that we have our goals, but our intentions have to follow along with that. I had to be nice. I had to give her grace. I had to assume the best, right? Otherwise, I could have very easily just gotten into that and been like, I have been on the phone for 3 hours, because that's really what I wanted to say, And I'm like, 3 hours, Mama. You're not going to get off this phone until you reverse this fee. But I was just super nice, and and it worked out fine. So that's what we have. We have these processes where we're like, we have goals of things and then our intention needs to follow suit with it. Sometimes we need to give a lot of grace and a lot of latitude to other things in our life or the other circumstances that show up in order for us to be able to give that grace so that we can get to that goal. Does that make sense? So when we're making our attempts this month to be really focused on our intention, I want you guys to like really make sure that you're separating out goal versus intention, goal versus intention, goal versus intention. Because if my goal was only to get that money, not to have to pay that money to the IRS, I would have been really snotty and I would have been really mean. Do you know what I mean? But my intention was is that really, I really can't even imagine why anybody would have to be on hold for 3 hours. So they really must be super, super short staffed. And I really do feel bad for those people. Like that's really horrible. And they probably deal with like really mean people all day long. And like, I don't need to be another one of those people. And so my intention is always like to be nice to people and try to give grace where I can. And so that's where you have to be, right? And so that's where everything kind of follows suit. Okay, so for our meditation tonight, I'm gonna ask everybody to like really focus in your basics. You know, if we have anything that we're really shooting for, really everything that we need to be shooting for, the more I read and the more I study is just renunciation. That's been kind of like the theme in my head is this theme of renunciation. And it doesn't mean that we need to become, like Quentin and I were talking about it, it doesn't mean that we need to become like an ascetic and we need to give everything away, right? We don't have any food and we don't have any clothes and we live in a hut and we're just beggars on the street. That's not what that means. But it does mean that we give up clinging to the things that we think that we have to have, right? The absolute things that we have to have. I have to be right. I have to win this argument. I have to get this. I have to do that, right? If we can let go of those things, I have to have the world the way I want it to be. If we can start to let go of those things, then our intentions follow easier. They're smoother. There's a lot less obstacle in the way. So that's what I'm kind of encouraging for everybody as we go through tonight, okay? So do that with yourself tonight with your meditation. If your mind wanders, be totally okay with it. Don't get mad at yourself, you know? Yes, it's a discipline, but it's a discipline of grace as well, right? Meditation should be a discipline of grace. And if we don't give ourselves grace through our meditation, then we can't expect anybody else to give us grace, you know? So it's kind of an interesting thing. You hear people say things like this. You'll hear it in yoga classes. You'll hear it in meditation classes. Whatever you do on your mat is what you do in real life. Whatever you do on your meditation cushion is what you do in real life. So if you are impatient with yourself and you are frustrated with yourself through your meditation, chances are you are frustrated and irritated and impatient with other people as well, okay? Because whatever we do to ourselves, we do to the rest of the world. So we start with that grace now, okay? Okie dokie. Who has never meditated in this room? Just you, okay. And oh, really? You look like you're all set up. You're like, you have an innate ability to be able to do it. So tonight for our meditation, don't get frustrated with yourself. Try to be in your body as much as you can. If you feel like you have the wiggles, if you feel like you're like not comfortable tonight, then you are allowed to, you know, lay down. And that idea is like feet are flat on the floor, so your knees are in the ceiling, and then your hands are on your tummy. That helps you to not fall asleep, okay? Because there's a difference. Okie dokie, artichokes. Quentin, we can shut off the back. Everybody just go ahead and sit up nice and tall. Tuck your chin a little bit so that you can feel this feeling of like, there's a lot of different cliches that you hear, which is like proud chest and humble chin. So what that would mean is that you have like your chest, you know, kind of strong forward, but your chin is tucked in so that you're not like looking up like this or like this. So, and then just rolling your butt cheeks down into your cushion a little bit. And then your hands can be palms face up or they can be down. If you're feeling cold, Then if you're feeling more feminine energy, your left hand goes underneath your right and your thumb's barely touching. More masculine, your right hand is underneath your left, okay? So both are correct. I'm hot, so I put my hands out so there's more airflow. If you haven't already, go ahead and make sure that your eyes are closed, but try not to smash them shut. You want them just barely shut so that there's just a little bit of light coming in. Gazoon tight. So and then try to make sure that your teeth aren't clenching either. So jaw is loose, tongue is loose. It's also good to, if you can, put a little smile on your face. You don't have to put a big tight smile, but a soft grin. When you smile, you release a meridian point underneath your nose to your lips, and it helps your entire nervous system know that you're okay. And then let's just go ahead and start really focusing in on our breath a little bit. So again, really noticing the qualities of the breath. Without forcing yourself to slow down your breath so that there feels like anything's labored in your breathing. Just try to be a little bit conscious of the inhales and the exhales in a way that it's a really soft, gentle inhalation and then a nice, soft exhalation. And just allow that to just smooth out and ease up. Just noticing like the richness of the inhale and the chest expanding. And then the exhalation and feeling it kind of retract back down. Start to be a little bit more aware of the pause at the bottom of the breath, and if there's a pause at the top of the breath. But again, this isn't forcing it, it's just like noticing these things. I'm just noticing the pause of the breath at the bottom before you go and take that next inhalation up. And then noticing if there's a pause at the top before you drop back down again. So now we're going to just kind of pick a very simple goal. And it could even be in your meditation practice that, that I feel like this sense of maybe clarity or space or almost an equanimity that shows up because of my meditation practice. My goal is this, better form of meditation for myself. Now, all you need to do is just create a mental image of yourself meditating. And any mental image of that will do. Now, perhaps the mind wanders. Again, this is where we show a lot of grace for ourselves. Just go back to that mental image that you have of yourself meditating. Seeing yourself in stillness. Maybe the look of serenity on your face. Maybe we can even take that goal of being a really accomplished meditator even farther and saying, that there's a part of you that just really, maybe all of you just wants to hit nirvana in this lifetime. It's like, oh, if I could have nirvana, that unbelievable clarity and complete joy, and everything's like not an issue to me anymore. I've hit nirvana. Because of my meditation practice. So now that we have our image of what it is that we're trying to attain, this is where those intentions come in. Following back to where you are right now. And maybe the biggest intention to be able to hit that long-term vision for yourself is just pure patience. For the next little bit, I invite you to just sit in the belief structure of having patience for yourself and for all the other little things around you in order to hit that long-term goal. That would mean that there's no time limit. No agitation. No frustration. Just patience. So as you kind of pull in this feeling of patience into your solar plexus and into your chest and into your throat, these three main energy centers that have so much to do with our reactions to things and to ourselves and to others. It's almost like you can see yourself being this incredibly patient person. And if that's your intention, what does that look like spilling out into all areas of your life? Do things move slower? Do they move more gracefully? Taking that feeling of that peace and grace and fluidity, all associated with the patience that you've created for yourself and for others. Almost just like a little gift, imagining it as you're giving patience and grace and peace to others, the same that you've cultivated for yourself. And you can start to bring more movement back into your body gently. Please allow your eyes to be the very, very last thing that pops up. Paige, how do you feel now after that? Paige had to run back to her house to go get a little thing for the recording stuff tonight. And I cannot imagine that you drove with patience. So I'm hoping that you brought it back for yourself. It's hard, it's a gift. Patience is a gift that we have to give to ourselves first. Because we have these really ridiculous expectations for ourselves, actually. They're absurd. My ex-husband used to say to me, he would say, your expectations are so high you can't even live up to them. And at the time, I was like, you're just mean. And you're just trying to be mean. But he was right, because I did do that to myself a lot. And then I kind of put everybody at this like benchmark all the time. It's like, you need to live up to this too. And it's like, why? What am I doing? And so I've had to really work on that over the years. And it starts with me. It starts with me being patient with me and like letting things kind of slow down. I've said this a lot, but menopause has been the best teacher to me. I can't get mad at her anymore because she's been like the best teacher to me and taught me how that I have to slow down. And I can't do things really, really fast. I can't, because I'll break out into a sweat that's so big I'll like slip around in my own sweat if that's what happens. Like I can't. And I can tell when I'm saying something or if I'm doing something that I'm not really comfortable with, because I'll get a hot flash. And so I've had to be really, really introspective with everything because of the things that we take for granted, and we just kind of like blow through like a steamroller on things. But my body's like talking to me now, and I can't not listen to her. And it's really been cool. I mean, like super, super, super cool. And so it's like I can see the things that I do that I think I didn't really give a lot of thought to, but at my core, I don't think I was ever really comfortable with them. And so, and a lot of that just comes down to like, I just got to slow down, and I got to not be so hard on myself, and I got to not expect so much out of myself, you know? And then as I can do that for myself, I can start doing it for other people. And then the more I do it for other people, it's like everybody's just happier, you know? So I wish I was like this, 20 years ago, but it's okay. I'll do it now. It's fine. But that's part of the thing of like, as we gain more knowledge and more wisdom, the older we get and the more mistakes we make and the more things we screw up on, we just hit ourselves over the head a whole bunch of times with things. And then we're like, oh, I don't have to do that anymore. I can put that stick down and I can actually like learn to be happy. So, all right, you guys, this weekend we have the Goddess Circle is on Friday. And so I think there's still spots. Is there, Quentin, still spots open for that? Yep. So there's still spots open for that. And Amanda does a great job with that. And then we're kind of like segueing into cooler weather. I got up this morning and it was 71 degrees. When I went for my bike ride, I was so happy I wore a long sleeve shirt. I was like, yay. So it's happening. It's finally happening. I'm so excited. And then I think that's it, right? Quentin, is there anything else you want me to bring up? No? Okay. All right, everybody. So I will see you all next week. Thank you. Just leave your stuff here. We'll take care of it. Thank you. Good night.